This is John Bailey, the epic voice of Honest Trailers, and you're listening to the Fiveish Fangirls podcast. It's a Fangirls podcast with five-ish people. The tangents and squee will continue. Squee.
Alrighty then. Well, in 3, 2, 11, the tangents and squee continue all the way to episode 511 of the Fiveish Fangirls podcast, and hopefully by the end of this podcast nobody will have sneezed themselves into oblivion or been killed in a horrific gardening accident. Welcome everyone to this week's episode of the Fiveish Fangirls podcast. So, my choice. Let's start off like a new with a virtual table and see who's joined us this week.
Bangle. This is Chrissy in Salt Lake City.
This is Holly from Wisconsin.
And this is Rachel in Indianapolis, Indiana. Hello, everyone.
Hello, everyone. Now, we don't have replacement podcast hosts.
I know.
So be careful. Please.
Yeah. Well, I mean, as far as we know, none of our positions are cursed. So
right, yeah.
I sure hope not.
I mean, we have been at this a little bit, so
yeah.
It's true.
Signs right now.
Yeah. All things considered, I think we're okay. So, that being said, I mean, some of our listeners may have been a little concerned because we went radio silent. Again, I'm so sorry about the lack of communication, about a lack of episode last week. But yeah, usually when stuff happens and we're just like, either somebody's gotten sick, usually me, or life just gets in the way, and usually it's like getting backed up at work or crap like that, and it is what it is, and we just deal with it and we move on and we come back when we can. That being said, some of it was illness. Brittany was a little sick last week, but I'm not going to get into the details because it's not my place. But my work suffered a unexpected and pretty severe loss. And that just kind of has thrown things into kind of a tailspin. And we are doing our darndest to pick up the pieces and move on, because this person was a very integral part of how we function on a day-to-day basis. So I think most of our listeners will understand that these things are, anytime you experience a loss, even if it is kind of expected, it could throw you through a bit of a loop. But in this case, it was absolutely unexpected. It came out of absolutely nowhere. So we are doing our best to keep everything functional, but it is going to be a bit of a lot of work and a bit of a struggle for the foreseeable future. So I hate when we miss an episode and we get so many days past when episodes usually go up and nothing has been posted, and I felt bad, but I was just like, I had, between work and trying to take care of everything there, and then the service was recent, and other stuff, it was just one of those things, so but knowing this person, I hadn't worked with them very long. I've only been there slightly over a year, but knowing them as well as I did, I know that they would probably be like, suck it up and get back to work. So quit feeling sorry for yourself. So that's what we're gonna do. Stiff upper lip and all that. Yeah. She wasn't British, but she could. Churchill probably would have been proud. So, but so yeah, that's the TLDR of what's happening in my neck of the woods. So, our longtime listeners know that odds are if there's not a show, it's probably my fault in some form or fashion.
We do our best.
I'm the one that records everything and edits it and puts it up. So, yeah. So we're going to do exactly that. Keep calm and carry on and all that fun stuff. So that includes Zin News, although unfortunately we're starting with some 10 o'clock news. With the passing of Hollywood legend, really, Robert Redford, who's passed away at the age of 89. Who, I mean, you think about leading men.
Oh yeah,
and
he's right at the top of the list.
He's right at the top. One half of Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
I mean, to tell you how much of, he was. Every single year, my university has a trivia contest that goes international online. Always the first question, the answer is Robert Redford. Easy 5 points right out of the gate. It's just, his body of work. My goodness.
Yeah, over on Gold Standard, we have reviewed several Ordinary People. Was it one Best Picture, The Sting, which is a fantastic movie and very funny, very smart. Think like Ocean's 11, but
it was Ocean's 11 before Ocean's 11 was.
Yeah, but this is Ocean's 11, like set in like it was like the 20s, something like that.
So. Is like that gangster.
It's like it's gangster prohibition era Ocean's 11.
Yes.
So, of course, all the President's Men.
Yes. Oh, fantastic!
One of my absolute favorites.
Yes.
When we on Gold Standard, when we got to the point where it's like, okay, well, we're caught up with the Best Picture winners, we're gonna have to start picking stuff. And Nick was all like, okay, well, each of us go our proverbial ways and make a short list of movies that you think we should review. And then we'll put them together. And then we put them together. That was the one movie we all had in common, was All the President's Men. And that's why that's the first one that we did.
Sweet.
Because it was the one we all had on our short list.
You all agreed on it. There you go.
Yes. Yeah. So, and then of course, Sundance, there in Utah.
That as far, now they moved it to Colorado, whatever reason. I personally have never been, but I know like around here, every time Sundance comes around, there are people like, ooh, what movie do you want to go see? Are you going up there to do all that? And like the news, they get all excited about, ooh, we're gonna see like celebrities up in Park City. Or, well, it's Park City, Sundance. It's all kind of in that area, east of. Over the mountain from Salt Lake, and I say east from Salt Lake, we got to go through a big canyon to get up there. But yeah, it's all out there, and it's a big deal, it was until recently. So we'll see how it goes in its new home. Be interesting, because the resort up there is called Sundance, so I'm like, it's still the film festival, but it's not in Sundance anymore. But whatever.
No, because it's named after his ranch.
Yes. So there are actually quite a few. Yeah, there's quite a few like Hollywood types. They have like ranches and property up in that area and stuff like that. So it's kind of not really Hollywood West or Hollywood East, I mean, but it kind of is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, if you hear of a famous person like, oh, I live in Utah, they probably live up in that area.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah, there's like the big film festivals. It's like you got Sundance, you got Cannes, you got Toronto. So, but yeah, yeah, he was an absolute legend.
Mm-hmm.
Part of the MCU. Alexander Pierce.
Yes.
He's Hydra.
We won't hold that against him for too much, but
yeah. It's like, you're Robert Redford.
You get a pass.
A little bit. So,
I loved him in Legal Eagles. Funny comedy law dramedy movie.
Yep. So I mean his career goes way back. You want to see some early Robert Redford? Go check out his episode of the Twilight Zone, and I'm not even going to tell you the twist ending. He did the Twilight Zone in like the late 50s, early 60s. So
yeah, there's quite a few of those. You go and watch Twilight Zone, and it's like, ooh, I know that person. Wow, they look so young. They do. Yeah, it's one of those things. It's like, yeah, you're probably you're getting up there in years, and probably going to be around much longer. But yeah, he was one of those. Definitely an icon. Definitely made his mark on pop culture and entertainment and the film industry. So,
yep.
Sure.
There is that. Moving on to slightly nicer things.
Less 5 o'clock. Yeah, less 10 o'clock news.
Yeah, so we got some high noon trailers. I don't think that's gonna stick, but hey, yeah, whatever. So we got our final trailer for Wicked for Good. Some nice shots for all the cosplayers. They're going ooh, ooh, ooh. Yeah.
How far can I zoom in? Okay,
Yeah.
that's that fabric with that decal. Okay.
Yeah. Well, it's just like, some of these scenes, I'm like, I know what the costume looks like in the musical, and see how they've put their own spin on things for certain scenes where you, like, especially for Glinda, like, there's just certain looks for certain scenes that, the front that she's trying to put on, depending on who she has an audience with, makes a huge difference in her wardrobe decisions. So we'll see that play out in the movie. So, but it's kind of wild to believe that, like, this time last year we were all like, oh my god, we're finally getting Wicked in a movie, and now here we are a year later, and it's like we're getting the other half of it, and then it's gonna be over.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like less than 2 months from now, we're all going to be on the interwebs going, oh my god, I cried so much. That is crazy. But should be a good time. I'm excited. Like, forget Thanksgiving dinner. I'm going to the movies.
And then trying to squeeze in Stranger Things later.
That too.
This last,
like football. What? Oh, I don't care about that. I'm going to the movies. So, and then we got our first trailer for Mandalorian and Grogu.
Oh, it looks so good. And Sigourney
know.
Weaver just kind of stop and go, like, wait a minute, that's mine. Nuh-uh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, kid.
Well, it's just like every scene with both of them, and it's just like I miss these two so much. I didn't realize how much I missed them until now.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, I might have to go back and do a rewatch of the first two series. Oh man.
I was like, I didn't realize how much I missed you till right now.
Yes, my precious little green cinnamon roll, you.
It's like, oh, the baby! Like, yes, I want to see the child.
Yes.
Give me more of the child. Oh, so yeah, good stuff. Good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my! And then, convention wise, because we're not done yet. By any means. I mean, Chrissy's gonna recap FanX here shortly, but speaking of FanX, fan get-togethers. My friend Alan just got back from LA Comic-Con, so that's pretty cool. But then GalaxyCon Columbus, which is still slightly over 2 months away. And even Chauncey is like, it's like 2 months is like, it seems so long, and at the same time doesn't seem like enough time. Because of like the people that they keep adding to the guest list.
Yep.
It's like, he's like, I was like, you're gonna have to buy more Super Soakers. Because that's his thing, is like he's been getting like 90 stars citing Super Soaker from his Super Soaker collection. Right now, it's all on one Super Soaker because it's a big one that's got like a big water tank, and then it's got like the secondary like softball size round tank on it as well. So that's where we've got Pete and Pete, and like a good like 3 of the guys from the Sandlot. So, but yeah, I was telling him, I was like, oh yeah, they've added this person, this person, this person. He's like, I don't know if I necessarily want them to sign the Super Soaker or that Super Soaker, maybe a different one. I'm like, you're gonna have to come up with something.
Yeah, because something tells me he's quickly running out of room.
Yeah. So yeah, I was like, you're gonna have to start doing the box or something. So, but yeah, for us like 90s kids, this is getting kind of redonkulous. So Devon Sawa, aka the human form of Casper, in Casper, who is having a little bit of a resurgence. He got who was it? It was Vera Bradley, I think. The handbag people, they're actually based here in Indiana. They used him recently for a slightly viral piece of advertising. But yeah, those of you that fell in love, with Casper's human form for the 5 seconds he gets to be human and dance floating in the air with Christine Ricci and Casper, there you go. You can try to have your moment, I guess. This was just funny. His just strikes me as funny. Bobcat Goldthwait.
Oh my goodness.
It's like, yeah, the voice at the very least.
Oh yeah,
know the voice. I mean, he is one half of Pain and Panic in Hercules. So
yes, he is. Yeah.
So we do have that going for us. Jaleel White. Urkel himself.
I have no idea if he was in conventions.
Yeah. Well, he's also the voice. He's also a voice of Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yes.
So he's got that going for him too.
Yeah, but he's done it for quite a while.
Yeah.
I remember correctly.
So,
Yeah.
well, I mean, everybody else is doing the conventions. I'm sure it's probably just come down to, like, well, if I do these things, then I get to see some of my friends.
Yep.
Mhm.
Because
Probably.
for some of them, this is where they get to see each other.
Yep.
And just have a big old nostalgia party with each other and their fans.
Pretty
So,
much.
but yeah, like I saw Jaleel. I'm like, really, Urkel? Seriously? Okay, yeah, sure, why not? So, only can we get Mr. Winslow too, just because he's in Die Hard?
Yes,
Like, yeah, Family Matters, whatever. Can we talk about Die Hard?
yes,
And Ghostbusters.
uh-huh.
And what's that other movie? What's that other movie he's in where he plays a cop?
Oh, I'm trying to. It's like
three very iconic like movies of that era where he every single one and someone somewhere has somewhere so I know I've seen it. Someone figured out a way to justify that him in Die Hard, Ghostbusters, and Family Matters, it's all the same guy. So oh my goodness. Okay. And in this one, Chauncey is like slightly losing his mind because he can like we were out the other day. And I'll get to why momentarily. And it was an antique / like flea market type place, and he kept finding like vintage Halloween decor, thinking maybe that would be something he'd want these people to sign, but he could not make up his mind. I was like, well, you've got some time, but you are going to have to make a decision at some point, because Omri Katz, Thora Birch, and Vanessa Shaw, aka Max, Danny, and Allison, respectively, from Hocus Pocus.
Ooh.
Yeah, let's see. Omri and Vanessa were definitely Fanax. I don't think Thora Birch was. I don't think I saw her, but yes, it's like they're kind of making the rounds.
But Doug Jones was.
Doug Jones, yes, Doug Jones was there.
Yeah.
But,
I'm kind of waiting for them to add Doug, just as a cherry on top of this Hocus Pocus Sunday. So I would love to meet Doug Jones anyway. The man is just insanely talented.
As long if he's available,
right?
It like that was the angle they were.
Well, that's because he's in everything. So.
Oh yes, and Doug Jones is in everything.
Yes. Yeah. But he's also a fellow Hoosier, so like we have acquaintances in common. Is the thing. So it's like, yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So it helps to be a Hoosier sometimes. So, but yeah, it's like really just like Hocus Pocus is like the Halloween movie for Chauncey.
Yes.
So like this and Ernest Scared Stupid are like his go-to Halloween movies. And Jim Varney's no longer with us, although one year when we were in Kentucky, at Lexington, while I was at the convention, Chauncey did take the car to go visit Jim's grave.
Aww.
So that's the closest he's got to meet, he'll ever get to meeting Jim Varney. But so the fact that we get like all three of the kids stars of Hocus Pocus in one go is just like his little 90s kid mind is a little blown, and we haven't gotten there yet. So
gonna be fun.
It's gonna be so much fun. Like at this point, I kind of want to just like message GalaxyCon and be like, "Will you please stop?" Like,
I mean this in the nicest way, but
yeah, I mean,
and
like,
they're gonna be like, never.
Yeah, I'm like, like at this point, thankfully, money is not necessarily an issue. You know, we're perfectly capable of collecting all the autographs and or photos that we wish of these people and other ones that have previously been announced. Thankfully, there's some I don't need to collect because I already have them. Like Vincent D'Onofrio, Jodie Whittaker, Mike Coulter. You know, it's like them. I got pictures and autographs of them. So thankfully, but still, it's like it's only 3 days. And I would like to have time to, you know, like sleep and eat and maybe socialize with my friends and not spend 3 solid days standing in line.
Right.
For these people. Oh. And it's like, oh my God, please don't, don't. Yeah, because the nostalgia is just, it runs so deep. It's like these people are going to have lines.
Oh yeah.
So, you know, some more than others, but they're still going to have lines. So, yeah, it's just a matter of, you know, we're going to be very, very strategic in how we do these things. So, it may just be a matter of like, okay, I'm going to go stand in this person's line. You go stand in that person's line, and then whoever gets closer first, you know,
go for it.
I mean, like, as far as like autographs and stuff are concerned, like, you know, some of them, if he wants to go and get them on his own, he can. Some I would like to be there for, you know, and obviously the photo ops, at least those are scheduled, so you know, at least we know we know what blocks of time are taken, but still, it's just like.
And you want to make sure you get there in plenty of time for your
photo. And I'm like, oh my God, how many different T-shirts? I'm gonna be like, my backpack is just gonna be full of themed T-shirts, and I'm just gonna have to wear like a tank top overneath so I can just whip one off and whip another one on.
Quick change.
Yeah. I was like, well, I do have a Sanderson Sisters T-shirt, so at least I got that covered. So. Oh my goodness, first world problems. But yeah, it's like, oh, okay. Anyway, hashtag first world problems. All right. Oh, there is that, and we'll see who else Galaxy Scott decides to add in the next 2 months. Oh my God.
Pencil handy and.
You know, if it wasn't for the fact that I'm going to Disneyland very soon, and was planning on, like, absolutely going nutso for all the Marvel merchandise, they're really killing my vibe here. Like, now you gotta make it so I come back from Disneyland with money still in my pocket. So that, I know!
You're harshing my mellow.
I know. You're killing me, Smalls. Been there, done that. Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, moving on to in the feeds real quick. Speaking of gold standard, September's Patreon movie is in Patreon if you so wish to listen to it. I do not appear on this one because this was fresh after getting the news from work, and I was just not in the. I could not do a war movie. No, if it had been a different type of movie, maybe, but I could not. As much as fantastic as a director Christopher Nolan is, his movies are not the happiest. So I was like, I do not need a bummer of a war movie right now to add to my psyche.
Don't blame you, yeah.
So that's it. So instead, I went and saw Spinal Tap II, which we'll talk about, which was a much better choice as far as my psyche was concerned. But yeah, if anyone wants to go listen to Nick and Zan talk about Christopher Nolan's Dunkirk, you can go get that in the Patreon feeds. But in the main feed, if you do want something that is way more fun, and I was so so much happier to talk about. And actually, this was Nick's choice of film. This was not me or Zan. Nick picked this one. We talk about Spice World. And have a good time talking about it in the process. So that was fun. That was an absolute blast. Oh my god, you want to talk about nostalgia? Oh my god.
I love you, girls. I would do anything for you, but
I won't do that.
I won't do that.
Yep. Oh my god. Yeah. I was back in high school pretty much the entire time we were having this discussion. I'm like, you do not understand how big of the Spice Girls fan I was in their heyday. The love was real. The love was deep. And I'm still waiting for that reunion to happen. It's not if, it is when. And when that happens, you thought the Taylor Swift Eras Tour ticket sales were a hot mess. You just wait until the Spice Girls announce they're reuniting and going on tour. Even without Victoria, we will still destroy Ticketmaster. It's like, I am a millennial with adult money now. I am ready. Like, I have been waiting years for this to happen. They did not come through indie. I say that. I don't think they came through indie at their peak, but at the same time, they might have. And I wasn't able to go because it was during the summer and I had marching band. So it was either they never came through indie in the first place or I had marching band as a conflict. Either way, I did not get to see them in their heyday. So I'm still waiting. Like, I have healed the wound of Weird Al rejecting my prom invite. Now I need to fix this childhood trauma of not being able to see the Spice Girls. I'm going to see my therapist and she's going to be like, what's up? And I'm like, well, I had someone somewhat close to me at work pass away unexpectedly, and I have been reminded how badly I still need to see the Spice Girls. I got to play with corgi puppies yesterday, so it's not all that bad. Anyway, so there for our gold standard listeners, you've got those options. And then I'll tease this real quick because I need to get first of all, I need the footage off my phone. All 20 minutes of just the walkthrough. But our good friends down at American HorrorPlex down in Louisville, Kentucky, got in touch a while ago, and they're like, "Hey, time to start thinking about coming down or coming over, depending on where you're coming from. I guess down to check out this year's haunt." So they were like, "Hey, we're doing media previews this particular weekend, which night would work for you?" And I was like, "Hey, let's do that Saturday night." And they were like, "Great, we'll see you then." I'm like, "Fantastic." So of course, not just gonna drive down to Louisville just for that. Not that that's a huge incumbent, inconvenient drive from where I live. So if you look at a map and you'll look at the line, where Indianapolis and Louisville line up, it's like a straight shot. So it's not terrible as far as drives are concerned. But if I'm gonna put that kind of mileage on my car, I'm gonna make it worth my mile. So Chauncey and I went down earlier in the day and played Tourist. And that's how we ended up at the flea market, antique shop, place. And then, we got dinner, we had some adult beverages, when in Rome, drink local, and had some German food. It was quite nice, actually. So then we went over there and got checked in with Claudia, their current PR person, the person doing their PR this year. She gave us our media passes and sent us on our merry way to go through the haunt. And the storyline is the same. They're keeping with the Brackenhart Institute for the Criminally Insane, where terrible science experiments had happened and people died and bad like what you'd expect with something like that. Mad scientist, experimentation, stuff goes wrong, creepy, blood, guts, murder, never know what's hiding behind the corner or in a filing cabinet type horror. But what I really love about this particular haunt, because if anybody knows me knows that, like, I love decorating for Halloween. I like doing the scaring. I like the giving out of the candy. I don't necessarily like to be scared. So I tend to stay away from haunted attractions for the most part. Like the Children's Museum is about as scary as I get. And that's saying something, because that's meant for kids. But what I like about theirs is they have a story, which there's a lot of places that recognize that having some sort of story or plot does make for a more interesting experience. It also gives you something to work with when it comes to advertising and that sort of thing. It gives you something to work with, when designing the haunt and that sort of thing. But their thing is, because they have this well-developed story, and each year they keep refining it, and coming up with new bits and stuff, like the video now that you watch when you first go in before they send you on your merry way to get scared. It's been tweaked since last year. With different wording and images on the screen and stuff and that sort of thing. And it's like, yeah, you still have some of your stereotypical stuff. You got people with chainsaws. You've got bloody stuff. You've got other bodily fluids and stuff that comes out of bodies that can be gross. But they're not going for just let's put people through this haunted house and just try to scare the crap out of them the entire time. Like, let's try to get you extremely upset. Let's try to scare the crap out of you. Let's just, let's make you disgusted, make you want to hurl, make you cry. There are some haunts where, like, that is their full intent. The theming does not matter. They just want to absolutely just destroy the people that go through their haunted houses. Because some people actually do enjoy that. They like being pushed to, like, their emotional and sometimes physical limits. Which, if that's your thing, more power to you. Definitely not me. Not enough money and corgis in the world to have me experience something like that. I'm sorry. But with this, the scares, whether it's the scare actors, whether it's animatronics, whether it's just the set dressing, whether it's the sound effects that are playing, it's all part of the story. And I was talking to Claudia after, we got to the end, and she just happened to be at the end when we came out the exit into the gift shop, as you were. That's how you sell stuff. And Chauncey, he needed to go to the bathroom, which had nothing to do with the haunt. He just needed to go. But I was talking to Claudia while he was gone, and she's like, "What'd you think?" I was like, I just, with this one, like, if I yell or scream, it's not necessarily, there were a few times when they did get me, but for the most part, it's like, if somebody's screaming at me, like, I'm screaming back. Or if they're, like, screaming I don't necessarily give away a whole bunch, but like there's a scene that takes place in like the kitchen slash canteen area. And there's like a deranged like chef, and he's offering you very disgusting like rotted obviously fake like maggot covered food and stuff, and I'm like, oh yeah, my favorite, can I get my pickles, that sort of thing. So I spend most of the time laughing and like with a big old smile on my face, just because some of the stuff isn't like jumping out and scaring you. Some of it is like more for some people probably like the nervous laughter. Like, should I be laughing at this or should I be afraid? Yeah, in some cases, it's Claudia. She likened it to horror like horror comedy theater.
Yeah,
and I think that's a good description of it. Is like these people that work this are obviously having a lot of fun. Not just the people inside the actual haunt, but the people that walk around when you're in line, waiting to go through, when you're over in the area where they have like other vendors that come in to sell their wares, near where they sell they have like the food truck, and that sort of thing. Like people walking around, and some speak, some don't. They've got the escape rooms, which they were the same escape rooms they've had for the last few years, so we didn't bother because we've done both of them multiple times and beaten them. So it's like, once they change at least one of them to something new that we haven't done before, then we'll do the escape room again. But you could, it's like, and even the people that aren't necessarily there to scare people, just the people that are working there, to help answer people's questions, like where's the bathroom, where can I go get something to drink, where do I, whatever, I lost something, where's the lost and found, that sort of thing. All those people are just enjoying this, and everybody wears a lot of hats. In this, I never when we got there with Claudia, she's like, when you're done going through the haunt and seeing all the other stuff, if I'm not nearby, have someone radio me. And she's like, I'll give you, I could take you backstage. And I'm like, that's sweet. And she's like, yeah, we might be able to find, I can't remember the guy's like Travis. It's the guy that like the head honcho. And she's like, well, he's very, very busy. I'm like, yeah, I understand. It's like the guy's in charge. I'm sure he's being pulled like 12 ways to Sunday. So I never saw, him even off in the distance. So I'm sure he was being kept very busy. But yeah. So when I found someone with a radio, and I was like, hey, Claudia said to have somebody give her a holler, and she'd come and give us a backstage tour. And that's what she did. She took us backstage. Chauncey took a few pictures. Didn't really take much in the way of video. One, because I know not everybody wants to see how the sausage is made.
Mm-hmm.
Some people don't like to see the behind the scenes stuff. Two, it's not something everybody gets to do. So, I kind of, there's a few pictures that Chauncey took of some of like their setup. It's really cool how they've managed to figure out how to make this thing run, for hours on end for several weeks. It's not even October yet, and they're essentially open for business. And she did the best she could as far, because it's like almost completely black inside. All the actors for the most part have, once they're in, their eyes adjust to the dark. They also have been doing this long enough, they know their way around, and know how to to get from point A to point B without getting lost. But so we couldn't have any like light necessarily, so it would have been kind of hard to take pictures and video anyway, just because of how dark it was on that side. But it was really cool. We got to meet some people out of, while they were waiting for their cues, so they were out of character. A number of the people that you see in the haunt scaring people also pull double or triple duty. Some of them are also zone managers, so they're in charge of, a number of crew for a certain section inside the haunt. Some of them also double as makeup artists. Some of them also double as hairstylists. Some of us double as prosthetics. Special effects artists.
You can have any job you want as long as you take 3 of them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and they work their butt off. I asked. She showed us a little bit of the backstage, some of the the equipment set up. How everything runs. A lot of it is because they have animatronics, they have lighting, there's sound effects, there's cameras. So there's all certain things. So they got various computer setups throughout. And we stood there and got to see what it's like for one of the scare actors to be on the backside looking through like the little peephole to look for the visual cue that means it's their turn to burst through and scare some people, and see what that was like, and how this one particular actress, she got her cue, burst through the curtain, did her thing, came back through, ran down like 10 feet, did another scare, and then turned around, went like another few feet on the other side, did another scare, and then it was back to 1. So it's pretty wild. It's pretty wild. She took us to the makeup trailer, where it kind of looks like a dorm room at the moment. Like a frat party has kind of happened, except there's instead of like beer cans and stuff everywhere, it's like bottles of paint and glue and wigs and eyelashes and stuff. They've got like pictures of their friends and stuff, and they've got like references for like their particular characters' makeup and prosthetics and stuff. It's really cool. It was really cool. I asked her, I was like, well, how soon do you guys start like rehearsing? And she's like, we'll start rehearsing in like late July, early August. But she's like, we'll get done with the season here. They'll go through like Halloween thereabouts. Once we're done with the season, we'll close up. We'll get a little bit of a breather, and then she's like, before the end of the year, all the managers and everybody are back together to start planning for next year.
Oh, wow.
So like, it's an all year round job for some of these people, and it's not just the haunt too. Is obviously they are involved with Haunters Against Hate, which is fantastic, trying to create safe spaces for fans of haunted attractions, that to be safe from bullies and hate speech and stuff like that. She said that they also will get like, I think she said like 800 Girl Scouts from across the area, and they hold like a camp specifically for the Girl Scouts to teach them how to do like special effects makeup and hairstyling and coming up with their own like creatures and stuff, and have them work through the process and learn like scare acting and things like that, so that so it's like clown college but for horror characters, and it's the Girl Scouts. And I was like, that's so cool. I love that specifically it's Girl Scouts. That like it's girls doing this. I'm like, that is awesome. I love it. But yeah, it was really cool to be able to get to do that. She said, next year, hopefully I'll when I get the email saying, hey, these are the dates we're gonna be doing this, that if we get it to work out, that I'll be able to come down like a couple hours before they open up and be able to do a walk through the haunt the haunt itself with the lights on.
Oh.
and be able to get to look at like all the details and everything with the lights on and stuff. So she said they're doing a couple of community days on like a couple random Sundays. You probably check their website to see where they're going to be doing a special lights on. So like the animatronics and everything will still be going, but the lights will be on. Okay. So
and you really see all the behind the scenes.
Yeah. So yeah, it's really cool. So I really like their haunt, because it's not it's I mean obviously it's it's still scary, but I also find it very entertaining because they want it to be entertaining and not just trying to scare the crap out of people. Although they do now sell themed underwear in the gift shop that, depending on, I guess, your particular reaction to the haunted house, lets everybody know you either peed your pants or crapped your pants. Going through.
All right then.
HorrorPlex. But yeah, I've got some pictures, and like I said, I need to go through my video because, again, a lot of it's dark, so the video is kind of useless anyway because you can't see anything, and I also don't want to necessarily give everything away. So I'll create a little teaser video.
There you go.
Just to wet the whistle, and hopefully, if you're able to get down to the Louisville area, like I said, check their website for hours, dates of operation, and ticket pricing, and all that fun stuff. But if you want something slightly above, something that's geared towards like the little kids, where you just want to give them a little bit of a fright, but you don't necessarily want like feel like you're gonna have a heart attack 30 seconds in. You want something that's scary but also a little entertaining and a little funny. You might want to give this one a shot. And the people that run it are super, super nice. That's an added bonus. So that's how I spent at least part of my weekend. But I know, Chrissy, you were a little busy too, speaking of fun with little kids.
Yes, actually. So FanX was this past weekend, this past Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Our budget was such we could only do one day, and that was Thursday. So that's what we did. We got the kids out of school a little early, came home, got all our cosplays on. Alex and I were Luigi and Princess Daisy, because he wanted to be Luigi, and he's like, "Mama, you're going to be Princess Daisy, right?" I'm like, "Yes." And then Jared and Lottie, they were characters from a game that Jared plays called Zenless Zone Zero, which I know some about, but not a lot. Anyway, there's a bit. All the characters have tragic backstories. Let's just get that out of the way. And Lottie wanted to play. There's this bunny girl named Alice, and like you see her tragic backstory when she's a little girl with her and her dad. So Lottie dressed up as a cute little bunny girl, and Jared wore a suit and bunny ears and was Alice's dad. Unfortunately, we did not get pictures. I wish we had. It was kind of chaotic that whole day. Because we drove downtown because I had been there the day before, and I was like, "Oh, we can park at City Creek Mall, which is across from the convention center. Easy peasy." Well, I didn't count on there also being some finance bro convention conference or something else going on, because in addition to the parking lot was full. All of downtown was either cosplayers or there were finance bros in polo shirts and khakis. And I'm like,
I always find it hilarious at some of these bigger cities that have a good sized convention center.
Yeah.
Obviously they need to maximize and justify having that much square footage, so they're going to book multiple events at the same time, unless it's like Gen Con where it literally takes over like the entire city. But they always seem to be diametrically opposed as far as what the conventions are.
Yeah, well, okay, so the Salt Palace, which is the convention center in downtown Salt Lake, it is all FanX. It is entirely FanX. But there are other places downtown where they can hold these sorts of events. So like the Salt Palace is the big main convention center, and then there's there's all kinds of places, smaller places, but for some reason, because we got down there, it was like the main floor opened at 2:00, and by the time we got downtown, City Creek parking lot was full. Like there was no getting in there, no nothing. So we had to park a few blocks west at the Gateway Mall, which apparently they changed how they do parking. It was let me just say this, it was a little stressful getting down there, and we've got two little kids who have been like dying to get to FanX and dying to do all this stuff. So I'm just like, okay, this is just parenting, geek parenting issues. Okay, so we rode the emotional roller coaster at this thing, and it was mostly just because logistics. But once we got in, because we'd gotten I'd gone the day before to get our wristbands, so we got in, and then we're like, let's go look at up and down Artist Alley. Well, of course, the kids see all the art, all the stickers, all the things, and we're like, okay, maybe we want to pump the brakes a little bit, because they're gonna buy us out of house and home before we even get to anything else. And I had wanted, and I think we mentioned this in a previous podcast when we talked about guests, I decided I was gonna suck it up, and I was gonna go get Robbie Damon's autograph. I was so nervous about this, even though, okay, I'm gonna kind of nerd out here and just be completely blah, because that's what we do around here. So when I was 13, 14, and I discovered Sailor Moon, and I absolutely, positively fell head over heels in love with Tuxedo Mask. I just did, okay, guys? And, with all the different dubs that they've done throughout the years, they've had they've had a lot of changeover with the whole voice acting cast. But then, in 2014, they announced, hey, we're going to redub it in English, do the reboot, and here's the cast and everything, and all of that. So, so Robbie Damon, he plays Tuxedo Mask in the new reboot. So obviously, his voice is not the character, not the one that I remember from when I was back then, but he does an amazing job. And I'm also, he also does audiobook readings, and he's in, Critical Role, and a whole bunch of, voice actors. They have a million roles that they've done. Okay? You look up their pick any voice actor you want, you look up their IMDb, and depending on how long they've been doing it, there's, a gazillion roles. Whether it's video games, animation, whatever. So, but that was the one I'm like, okay, we're gonna go do this, and I'm trying not to be that fangirl, the one who passes out and cries. Sorry, Rachel. Not, and I'm pointing, and I'm
hey, in my defense, I have never passed out.
Yeah,
I've cried. I've never passed out.
I made a myself in front of David Tennant several years ago, so I'm not excusing myself. Well, and then, so, Lottie, I gotten her into Sailor Moon. She cosplayed Sailor Chibi Moon last year, and, if we'd been thinking, I would have done it this year for her. But she wanted to do what she wanted to do. Kids are old enough, they have opinions about what they want to dress up as, and that's fine. I want them to have a good time. They're not just my props, okay? And I asked her, I said, look, we're going to go meet the guy who voices Tuxedo Mask. Do you want to come with me and stand in line? And she's like, yeah, let's go do it. Well, and we're in the general admission line. And, they kind of, if you've been to conventions, I'm sure other conventions do this, they kind of snake the line back and forth, so you're not you're not in the way, people can get by and stuff. But then they also have the VIP line, which they let them, it's like if you've gone to Disneyland or Disney World, they have the Fast Pass, Lightning Lane, whatever the hell they're calling it this week. That thing. So, people who paid extra can go in front of everybody else. And so I'm standing there, the line has moved. Jared has taken Alex to go look at things, because there's this booth that they love to go see with that they've done those Lego minifigs of just all kinds. Of they've got Mario, they've got Link, they've got, Marvel, Lord of the Rings, any fandom you can think of, they have minifigs, and Alex loves to go see those. So they went there and did that. And I text Jared, this is 40 minutes later, we have not moved. And Lottie is getting, she's getting a little bored. And so I said, okay, Jared, why don't you take Lottie to go look at the Legos, and I'll just stand here. Well, then the line started moving a little bit. And then they came back, and, Jared took Alex. Alex stood with me for a bit just because, I'm going to be with Mom. I'm just staying in my line. And most of the people that are there to see Robbie are like, they got Critical Role stuff. It's like, that's the big there. And all of a sudden, I have this image in my head, like, what if there isn't a Sailor Moon themed picture up at his table and I haven't brought anything? But I'm like, but duh, they have to, because it's one of the things, like, because they do those banners for all the guests.
It's on there,
like,
yeah.
Here's their headshot, and here's where you probably, here's the characters that the roles they've been in. And Tuxedo Mask is right there with a bunch of other ones. Like, it's gotta be. Okay, so anyway, it's about a couple hours later, and I've got Lottie back, and she's perked up a little bit because she was feeling a little bit. I think she was just nervous because there were so many people there, and so. But then, there were some people in line who were kind of talking to her, saying, "Oh, your costume is so cute," and all this, and we kind of cracked some jokes and whatever. So then we get up to the table, and it's finally our turn. And I've been checking the time. I'm like, okay, he's got a panel at 6, but it's not quite 5. We'll be okay. We're gonna get through this. And I'm like getting a little nervous. So then I get up to the table. Well, the lady, the handler who's there, she sees Lottie first. She's like, "Oh, come up here, sweetie." And I was like, "Okay, yeah, let's go." And I gave her the money, and I paid for one. And I said, and I saw that there was this really nice, and I posted on my Instagram. Maybe we'll link to it. Of this image of Tuxedo Mask and Sailor Moon getting all swoony, and I'm like, "Oh, this is cute. I love it."
It's very nice. I love it.
It's actually holographic.
Oh, cool!
So
Even better.
From the picture, but it sparkles, and I'm like, I love this.
Oh, sweet!
So I just told the lady we are big Sailor Moon fans, and she's like, "Oh, well then you'll want this one," and that was the picture she handed me, and I was like, and then she pulled out a sticky note and says, "Do you want it personalized? Like, put our names on it." And I said, "Can I? This is my daughter. We're both fans. Can we have him put both our names on it?" Like, "Yeah, sure." So she writes down her name. She puts the sticky note on the picture, on the poster, and it's like an 11 by 17, hands it to Lottie and says, "Okay, sweetie, you're going to go up and hand that to Robbie. He's going to sign it for you." And then, and all these things. And they're just, and then there's a couple other people in front of us. And I just bent down, like, "Okay, yeah, that's who we're going to go see. And he's going to sign it." Because he's looking at me like, or she goes, "Mommy, why do you have this poster? Why did they give me this?" I'm like, "Well, that's the picture he's going to sign for us." And she's like, "He's going to sign it?"
Yes.
Or it was just like in her little 5-year-old mind is just like, really? And she got a little shy, and she was getting a little antsy, and I was like just kind of watching her with this whole thing, and I can tell that she really wants to get up there. But like, okay, now there's this person that there's with, and then there are these two people here, and then it will be our turn. So then we get up there, and he just, well, first he's like, "Hi, Princess Peach." I'm like, "I'm actually Princess Daisy." He's like, "I know." He was so sweet. Like, he was like kind of joking, and he goes down to Lonnie, like, "Well, hello, and what's your name, and how old are you?" And she just asked, like, "I'm 5," and he made this joke, and he's like, "Oh, like I've got a daughter who's 7, and then like a son who's like," and he was like doing this thing with his hands, is like 4.5. He made a joke about like his son is 4.5, and like, I can't count that. And we laughed, and Lottie laughed, and he said that she was a cute little bunny, and all these things. And I said, "Oh yeah," and so I said, "Okay, Lottie, hand him the picture." So she hands it to him, and he looks at it. He's like, "Oh, you want this signed to both of you?" They're like, "Oh yeah," because I've been a Sailor Moon fan since middle school. I've introduced my daughter to it. We love it. And he's like, starts looking around for something. He's like, "Lottie, hold on, I've got something for you." And I was like, "What's he gonna give her?" And I was just like, "Oh my gosh, like, what is this?" And like, he's looking for something, and he asks the handler, like, looking for it. And he finds it. It's like right there. It's like a sort of a collage of different images of Tuxedo Mask, and it's like from like the 90s. And I just kind of go, "Oh, that's old school. That's cool," because I hadn't seen that earlier. And he holds him up, and he says, "Lottie, which one do you want?"
Aww.
The one that he found that he had said, "This is for her," because I think normally she would have picked the glittery one, but I was like, "You know what? You picked the 90s one. That makes me that kind of gives me a thing from a parenting
win."
Yes.
So he signs that one to Lottie and signs the other one for me. So we got 2 autographs, and one was it's to Sailor Lottie, which I just giggled. And he said, because there's a bit where there's a line from the show, and it's like, and he goes, "You are the brightest star," and he says it in his tuxedo mask voice, and I'm like over here going, trying to keep it cool in front of my. And then to me, he's like, "To Sailor Chrissy, my job is done," which I know is sort of a meme, and that made me laugh. And everything. So we got 2. He signed 2 posters for us. So Lottie's
cool, dude.
hanging up in her room. Mine's hanging up too. I've got a little Sailor Moon corner that's got all that, and I made room for it. And then he comes out and he's like, he takes the sticky note, kind of crumples it up, and he's kind of like, "Is it okay if I come out and show?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure." And he's got the sticky note, and he's like holding it up to her, crumpled it up, and he's like, "Okay, Lottie, I want you to look at this." And he's like showing her, and I'm like dying because I wish I could have like videoed this or taken a picture. But they are so like, I've had this happen before, like, or I've seen it happen at the con. Like, if you're up at the table, unless you paid for a picture or something like that, they're like, no cameras, no videos. I did not want to ruin this because this was just such the sweetest. And I'm like, if I screw this up because I'm like, so well, I can take a picture. I'm like, no, not gonna do it. But I just wish I could have. But like people, and I like the crowd there was kind of watching him. And he's like, and he just does this magic trick with the little crumpled piece of paper, and he made it disappear and all this stuff, and gave her a high five, and he's like, "Thank you for coming up." And like, he spent like all this time, and I'm like, I know, like, you've got all these people waiting, and like and there weren't a lot of little kids there. Lottie was easily the youngest standing in line when we were there at the time, and like he just went out of his way to interact with her. And I'm like sitting here because this was my idea. This was my thing I wanted to do. And I'm like, he spent more time with her. I don't even care. He made it good for her. And I was so happy. I just was grinning there the whole time. I'm like, you are an adorable human being. And
if I wasn't a fan before, you've got a fan for life.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Like, if you watch Sailor Moon and there's like, Tuxedo Mask and Chibi Moon, and it's sort of this, their interactions are like so cute, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is just like that. He is like, it's the same thing, and I just loved it, and I was like, and Lottie is like, "Mommy, I want to hold my picture." That I got.
Aww.
And it took her. And it kind of took her. Took her a minute to figure out, put all the connections together in her head, and so then, and then like yesterday, we had a little family get together, did some like birthday stuff, with some of my niece and nephew, and one of her cousins he's like just a year older than her, and they're buddies, they're playing, and Lottie was telling him, and I saw the guy. He's the voice of Tuxedo Mask, and he did a magic trick for me. It's like explaining this whole thing in her old 5-year-old way.
Cool.
She is going to remember this. And it's
core memory right there.
Oh, core memory. Absolutely. So cool. And I mean, like, it was just, I'm like, this is why we go to conventions. This is why we do this stuff. And yeah, parking is a pain. And the crowds can be a pain, and your feet hurt, and you're hungry, and blah, blah, blah. Especially if you've got little kids there. Oh, it was just, just my mama heart was like, did all this. So
I was jumping up and down when I read your post about it. I'm like, yay, good.
Yeah. And I'm glad Lottie wanted to go do it with me. I mean, I was going to do it regardless, and I probably would have fallen flat on my face figuratively, but it was so great. And he's such a nice person, such a nice guy. Absolutely. And, so if you ever get a chance to meet Robbie Damon at a con,
do so.
He was so great with everybody there, even the adults. And he was like rolling dice with people, especially if they were there for Critical Role, and then they'd roll, and it's like, it was great. He just such a great person to meet. And I'm like, okay, I need to find out what you've been in, because You're good.
Oh yeah. And his audiobooks
then-
are fantastic. I've been slowly building my collection.
Yes.
When my Audible credits come in, I'm like, which one don't I have?
Yeah, I need all of them.
Yes.
So then
I need to help
after that,
contribute to
And time
support.
to start watching Critical Role.
apparently,
New-
and I'm like,
New,
oh,
new
my goodness.
campaign starts this Thursday with him in it. So
All right, take a look at that. So yeah, so we were like in the main conference hall, and they've like changed where they set everything up. So I was like, because Jared and Alex had already gone to KidCon, and I was like, where the heck is KidCon? Of course, I'm just like, my brain is like,
you're riding the high.
So I'm like, I'm trying to remember where to go. And then like I saw somebody who actually worked with at work for a while. He's like, oh, and I'm like, hi. We're trying to find KidCon. Like, oh, it's over there. So we had to find that. We did. So we got up there. They had like, and every year they have like the giant Legos the kids can play with. And they have the obstacle course. And just all kinds of really fun things. They have the kid panels, and mostly it's just a way for parents to like, here, we're gonna go sit down. You guys go play for a bit, which is fine. I finally got to tell Jared all the stuff that had happened, and so we were doing good. And so we were at KidCon for maybe like 45 minutes or so, and we're like, well, let's go look at the art and look at the art some more. And the kids picked out a few other things they wanted. And I also saw, and this is something I've been looking for at the convention. For years, I've never seen it, but all of like the vendors that sell, prop weapons and stuff, I'm like, can any of you like have one of the Sailor Moon like scepters, moon sticks, whatever? I finally got the moon stick. That's the one that's the pink handle. It's got the big crescent moon, like one of the first ones. And I saw it, and I'm like, I've never seen this here. I need to buy it.
I don't care how much, it's getting mine.
Yeah.
It's going to be mine.
Yeah, it's like a kind of out of foam rubber, kind of, but I think it's a little more sturdy than that. I'm not exactly sure. But Lottie and I have decided to share it, because once I paid for it, the lady handed it to me. Lottie goes, "This is mine." And then of course Alex saw like a Power Ranger blaster that he liked. They were selling there too. Like, oh, okay, you can get it. So we did that, but yeah. So we didn't spend a ton of time there this time. I think next year we're going to be a little more on the ball and get the early bird tickets, the ones that go on sale like Black Friday, which are you can get all 3 days, and it's a hell of a lot cheaper.
Discounted rate, yeah.
Yeah, and then we could spread out, because like if we just know we're gonna go, then we can spread out all the stuff that we want to do throughout the weekend. But yeah, it was great. They did a really good job. So I mean, and I've seen like videos and pictures from other people. Some of the panels they'll post on their YouTube channel. Because I kind of wish I like said, hey, no, we want to go to that panel at 6 that he's on, but it didn't happen. But it's okay. So yeah, but no, it was a good time. We enjoyed it, and we'll look forward to next year. And I'm still, maybe by then I will be off my giddy high. I don't know.
Never.
Never.
Never. I still, even like meeting David Tennant or meeting Colin Baker, Paul McGann. It's so awesome.
Again, the childhood nostalgia. It runs deep.
Oh, yes, it does. And I'm like, I'm to the point. I'm like, I'm 40 years old. Like, I don't care if you think I'm weird or dumb or like think if you don't like this. I'm like, screw you. I'm enjoying myself, and my daughter enjoyed herself. So.
Why do you think we do this show?
Yes,
I know.
Exactly.
Like growing up, when my siblings just did not get like, why do you like that show? And why do you think it's weird and I'm like, and yeah. So I was a little self-conscious about it back in the day, and these days I'm just kind of like, yeah,
whatever.
You do you, boo. I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
It's so the tangents as we continue.
You don't see me talking bad about your show, so you don't be talking bad about mine.
Exactly. Now they're, when you're a teenager and you've got younger siblings and everybody's in that stage of life, everybody's kind of...
Especially with the siblings.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I mean, siblings,
Your siblings could be some of your best friends, but also some of your biggest antagonists.
This is true. Even my parents,
they're the button pushers.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's just easier to watch it when nobody was around.
Yeah.
Well, the likelihood of when you have the house to yourself, the likelihood of you getting interrupted, exactly.
Yeah. Like, look, I am into this show. I don't need your commentary. Get out.
I'm watching my stories. Shush, leave now.
And same with some in the fandom. I'm like, look, it's first and foremost, it's a romance, it's a love story. It's in the freaking title song, okay? So you just zip it.
Yeah.
There's my soapbox.
Well, glad you guys had fun, and Lottie had a very memorable experience. And hey, if by some chance with time and age that maybe she forgets, it is now recorded and will live on the internet for all of eternity. So
yes. I mean she's got the poster. It's gonna hang up in her room.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Forever. Yeah. But sometimes the specifics of the encounter may fade with time. So
right. Yeah.
I know. Also,
she could be like, I don't remember that, and be like, well, here, let me go to this episode. It was it was the one that you'll be able to refind it easily enough because you know it's the one that we recorded right after FanX. So.
Yep. I know the date. I know the thing. It's all good. So yes.
Episode number.
This is for posterity. So
Yep.
Oh, posterity. He is Reenie. I'm married. I ain't dead.
Yep.
Amen. Hey, did you see Chauncey begrudge me when I did? Well, not that he was there at that exact moment, but he was there with the picture. But yeah, Chauncey didn't. I think he laughed a little when I told him that when I met Jason David Frank, that I told him that he was my first childhood crush, celebrity crush. So.
You know what? Our hubbies probably have their own crushes, and that's fine. I am equal opportunity ugly.
Exactly.
Well, moving on to another person who is also unapologetically fangirl is our biggest fan. And also one of Chrissy's sisters, Shalane, who has sent us some feedback.
On the record, she was too young to really be a pain in my butt at that time. So, just for the record.
But she is definitely a fellow fangirl.
Yes, very much so.
In her own way. That's what's awesome. So... Well, Shalane's feedback says, hello, friends! I'm glad you finally posted your Gen Con video so we can keep moving forward and stay on schedule. I mean, I have footage from conventions before that still need to go up. But yeah, sure, we'll on schedule, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We will take that, we will run with it. If that's a story, we're sticking to it.
Yeah, going back to Hex, that's going to be done by Walt Disney Animation Studios, not Pixar. I even heard they might make it as a hand-drawn animation film, since there's talk about Disney bringing hand-drawn animation back. That would be awesome.
Right?
Yes, totally.
Let's see. Sometimes I feel like it's my job to help correct mix-ups about which films are Disney animation and which are Pixar. I mean, somebody's got to keep us straight.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of fandom knowledge in this brain, but I can't say it's organized.
Yeah. Sometimes I have to rely on Google.
Or do the Abby shoots you going through the mental Rolodex with your fingers outstretched, miming?
Yeah. I was
Where
like,
did
just
that
because
information
I
go?
work at a high school, it doesn't mean that I would pass any of the classes that said high school. Not unless there's a class, not unless somebody's going to create a class on Taylor Swift lyrics. In that case, I will ace that so quickly. So Hex will officially be Disney's 65th animated feature film. Well, that's cool. Now on to other news. I'm really excited about the new Muppet Show, which I'll believe that when I see it, to be honest with you. It's one of those things where it's like, they keep teasing us, but it actually hasn't happened yet. So, but Sabrina Carpenter will be a guest, which I can't wait to see next year. She's going to get mentioned in a little bit, but not because of the Muppets. So, have you thought about doing an episode on the Muppet Show? So far, the only Muppet movies you talked about are Treasure Island, Christmas Carol, and Wizard of Oz during your Wizard of Oz episode. Yes, we need to talk about the Muppet Show. Mm-hmm. There's just lots of Muppets just in general to talk about.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Moving on to Clueless, another great rom-com to add to your list after 10 Things I Hate About You, 13 Going on 30, Mamma Mia, and The Princess Diaries. What's next? Maybe Mean Girls, Freaky Friday, The Devil Wears Prada, Pretty Woman, Valentine's Day, Never Be Kissed, 16 Candles, or Heathers? Yeah, probably some of those.
Uh-huh. Stay tuned.
Yes. Especially considering this is getting a sequel that's being filmed right now.
Uh-huh.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah, I actually said something to Nick, and Nick was like, yeah, that's actually made headlines. Because they're filming in Milan right now, because it's Milan Fashion Week.
Nice.
And both Meryl and Stanley Tucci have been spotted in character at
and I
some
think
of the
there was even some
fashion shows.
Photos snapped and shared on Facebook.
And her as Miranda with Anna Wintour.
Mm-hmm.
Which is hilarious considering Anna Wintour is the inspiration for Miranda Priestley in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
Also, since Clueless came out in 1995, it's celebrating a big anniversary this year, just like Apollo 13 Sensibility. Maybe we'll also talk about Jumanji, Casper, and Toy Story. One of those might be on the schedule sooner rather than later. Just saying. I really love Clueless. It is a true 90s girl movie, right alongside Pretty Woman and Never Been Kissed. First discovered it in middle school when I saw the novelization at the library. I wanted to read the book and watch the movie, but it was PG-13 and I wasn't old enough yet. That's kind of a long story from my youth. I wasn't always allowed to watch PG-13 films, but I did get to see Harry Potter and Star Wars and Men in Black, which were all PG-13. And sometimes I even watch Titanic. I mean, PG-13 is PG-13 for different reasons. It depends on the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah.
This is true.
Yeah. Back to Clueless. I saw a meme on Pinterest that shows how each decade had its own Mean Girls, quote, Mean Girls movie. For example, in the 70s, it was Grease with the Pink Ladies. In the 80s, Heathers. In the 90s, Clueless. In the 2000s, Mean Girls. And in the 2010s, Scream Queens. It's also funny when you look back at those movies from the 80s, 90s, and 2000s and realize that so many of the actors later showed up in big franchises like the MCU, Star Wars, Jurassic Park, or Christopher Nolan films. For example, Paul Rudd was in Clueless before he became Ant-Man. Scarlett Johansson was lost in translation before becoming Black Widow. And the late Heath Ledger started 10 Things I Hate About You before his iconic role as a Joker. They were so young and unknown back then, and years later they became huge stars. Another cool thing about Clueless is the first Jane Austen adaptation you girls have talked about, since sensibility doesn't count since it is in the modern retelling. Maybe you could also cover Bridget Jones's Diary, since that's based on Pride and Prejudice. I haven't seen it, but it would fit that theme. Maybe. I can't decide what I think about Bridget Jones, to be honest with you.
For sure, either.
Yeah. Maybe actually it's one of those ones where I probably just need to sit down from beginning to end, at least the first one. Like, it's one of those ones where I've seen pretty much all of it, but in chunks and not in the right order. So it's like, maybe I need to see it in order to have full context and then make a decision. I don't know, maybe. And finally, I've been making a list of Halloween costumes I'd like to try someday, starting with Cher Horowitz from Clueless. Others on my list are Karen Smith from Mean Girls, Andrea Sachs from The Devil Wears Prada, Annie and Hallie from The Parent Trap, Anna Coleman from Freaky Friday, Mia from The Princess Diaries, Jenna from 13 and Going on 30, Becca from Pitch Perfect, Barbie, and a Disney Channel character. Some of these could even work as group costumes with friends. We even talked about doing the OG Mickey Mouse Club Masketeer someday. That'd be cool. If you ever do movies with Taylor Swift, my guess is it would probably be Valentine's Day. I know none of us want to talk about cats. And you are right about that.
You be correct.
Absolutely correct, girlfriend.
Uh-huh. If we ever if April 1st ever winds up on a Monday, maybe, slightest maybe.
Honestly, I will probably
no guarantees.
Synopsis.
Yep. But I've seen the stage version of Cats. That's all I need. And even that, I was like, okay, they're people dressed as cats, singing and dancing.
What do you mean it wasn't made on drugs?
Good for you, Andrew Lloyd Webber. So. I'm kind of like, I can kind of see why Mr. Sheffield passed on Cats in the Nanny. Why that's a running joke.
Yeah.
I might have passed on it too, to be honest.
Yeah.
Goodbye. Well, thank you, Shalane, for your feedback. So, yes.
Very delicate. It's a bit of a departure from the kind of thing you normally play. What do you call this?
Well, this piece is called Lick My Love Pump.
This is the loudest,
Rock and roll!
most explosive band in heavy metal history. This is Spinal Tap.
There's such a fine line between stupid and clever.
The funniest movie ever made about rock and roll.
He choked on vomit. Well, they can't prove whose vomit it was.
The monumental classic.
There was a Stone Age monument on the stage that was in danger of being crushed by a dwarf.
The makeup of your audience seems to be young boys.
Oh, it's a sexual thing, really.
We've got, armadillos in our trousers. I mean, it's really quite frightening.
No, don't.
I was just pointing at it.
Well, don't point. I'm sure I'd feel much worse if I weren't under such heavy sedation.
The cult phenomenon.
The numbers all go to 11.
Does that mean it's louder? Is it any louder?
Well, it's one louder, isn't it?
Why don't you just make 10 louder and make 10 be the top number and make that a little louder?
These go to 11.
This is Spinal Tap.
Well, moving on to a pair of movies. Speaking of stuff with sequels, although this one, the sequels were far apart. It's been 40 years, but still stands the test of time. We're going to turn things up to 11, but talking about Spinal Tap. One of England's loudest bands. Of course, the original movie, This Is Spinal Tap, which is a stalwart for it is a cult classic for a lot of people. For some people, this is like, this is their movie. And what's really funny about this movie, and it's something I brought up actually a little bit when we were talking about Spice World, about how Spice World is it's a kind of a documentary as well, or at least there's a documentary that's trying to be made, but how it's a spoof of the pop life, and what it's like, to be in the music business. And this, Spinal Tap, I mean, this has kind of been done throughout since cinema, and even before cinema. People have been making media about making media. Even some of Shakespeare, like Shakespeare has done plays within plays, so it's a long running thing, and a lot of times it's making fun of, just because that the world, doing very big air quotes here, the world of entertainment and entertainers, whether you're talking actors, singers, whatever, has always had this aura about it, almost this otherness. And what Spinal Tap did was take some of the ridiculous that actually does happen in the world, specifically in the world of rock and roll, and turns the absurdity up to 11. But there's so much truth built into this that even people in the industry, there are some people, like, you know, God love him, you know, he recently passed, may he rest in peace, Ozzy.
Yes.
He didn't laugh when he originally saw it because it was too real. It hit too close to home as far as some of the ridiculousness. The Edge from U2 has said the same thing. I mean, a lot of people thought this wasn't a mockumentary. They thought it was a legitimate documentary and thought that Spinal Tap was a real band. Now, the thing is, the guys in this, you know, Michael McKean and, you know, Christopher Guest, and, you know, obviously Rob Reiner playing our director, you know, documentary director.
I had to do a double take. I'm like, wait a minute, is that? Oh yeah, that's him.
Yeah, that's Rob Reiner. Yeah, and and actually, Spinal Tap II is the first time he's ever done a sequel in his entire career. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. But like our guys in Spinal Tap are actually all accomplished musicians themselves and are perfectly capable of playing and singing the music in this movie, and they do. I mean, obviously, like the live show, they're lip syncing because the audio, they need to be able to control the audio. Like a concert film where you kind of expect to be people screaming and clapping and singing along and shouting and shouting out lyrics and stuff like that. In this case, they were shooting it more like a music video where they lip sync. That way they have complete control over all the noise. But it's still them singing. It's still them playing. Did they necessarily write all the music you hear? Not necessarily. But it is, and these guys actually did go out and did shows as Spinal Tap. So some people did get to see Spinal Tap in concert. In fact, actually, oh goodness, when they at some point when they weren't fighting each other, the brothers in Oasis actually went and saw Spinal Tap, and actually the guys like Michael McKean and all of them actually were their own opening act as their folk band in A Mighty Wind. And the one brother had to explain because the one was complaining about the folk music. He's like, well, we're here Spinal Tap, it's rock and roll, England's loudest band, like, it's like, why are we stuck listening to folk music? Get these guys off the stage. And his brother had to explain to him, like, those are the same guys, just playing a different band. And his brother didn't realize that Spinal Tap is actually a made-up band. That it was all made up. Mighty Wind, Spinal Tap, all made up. It's just the thing with is you've got these crazy characters leaning into all these different stereotypes about rock and roll, and it's funny because it's like it's a little bit, it's got some it's like Hard Day's Night, but it's also like the Let It Be documentary and the Get Back documentary. Like you're also seeing the band fall apart,
right? And not quite meet the Ruddles.
Yes. Yeah. So it's like, of course, they've got these long running jokes. Of course, they lean heavily on the, because this is supposed to be the 80s. It is the 80s. The first movie came out in 84. They lean very heavily into, which was, kind of par for the course, especially in the 80s with some bands, a lot of sex, whether it's very on the nose, sometimes it's very, a lot of innuendo, which, in some cases I think that, you laugh if you sit back and think about it. I mean, some of these songs, when you really listen to the lyrics, they're actually quite brilliant.
Yes.
They're singing about big bottoms, which is obviously an homage to Fat Bottom Girls.
Yes.
By Queen, among other things. But he's like, how can I leave this behind?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, that can be taken on a number of levels. It's like, how can I leave this behind? Behind isn't butt. How can I leave this butt?
Yes.
How can I leave this derriere? But then it's like, the girl attached to the butt, how can I leave her behind? How can I walk away from this? Not the behind as in the posterior, but as in the behind, like, you're going to be here, I'm going to be over here, we're not going to be near each other anymore. And it's like, that's kind of brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
Some of these lyrics are quite inventive.
Yes.
And when the first movie, with This Is Spinal Tap, we get the history of the band, and it's a bit of an homage to the Beatles, their early stuff, their earlier songs. Give me money, give me cash. Their look is very Beatles inspired, and then you get into the 70s, and they're getting more of like the Who. And a little bit of Crosby, Stills and Nash, a little Creedence Clearwater, listen to what the Flower People say. And then they get a bit kind of Queen / Led Zeppelin inspired with their more like concept albums with like the Stonehenge, very Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon, or Queen, type concept album where they talk of, it's all about the Druids and, Stonehenge and the people, the worship the monolith and the giant stones and all that fun stuff. And then they get into the 80s, and they're leaning very much into that sex, drugs, rock and roll vibe, that we were getting from other bands of that era. Your White Snake with your scantily clad woman, rolling around on the hood of a sports car with the, her hair blowing back and, all those things. And, them supposed to be coming out with this album, Smell the Glove.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And we never see even a rendering, concept art of this, what's supposed to be this cover art of this album. All we get is a description coming from Fran Drescher.
Yeah.
Playing Bobby Fleckman, who, if you ever watched The Nanny, you know that Bobby Fleckman makes an appearance in an episode of The Nanny, letting Fran Drescher play double duty, which I think is hilarious. So, yeah, you can find clips of that at the very least on the YouTubes. But, it's supposed to be, nobody wants them to release the album with this cover image, of this girl on all fours, scantily clad, if not completely naked, with being led on a leash by a guy, with a glove on, and he's making her sniff his fingers. And what's funny is rewatching this now, recently, when they got to that bit, and Bobby and other people are like, "Oh, it's so sexist and degrading," and I'm like, Sabrina Carpenter, of all people, recently got into hot water for her most recent album, Man's Best Friend, because the cover art very similar to what they're describing. It's like 40 years later, and they're still trying to sell music with art, cover art that could be considered degrading.
Risque.
And that's exactly risque, degrading. I mean, that's exactly why Sabrina Carpenter got into trouble with it, because people thought it was degrading, even though it was her. It's her being the woman. She chose to do that. Probably knowing full and well that she was going to catch flack, actually, to be honest with you.
And tell me you've seen Spinal Tap without telling me you've seen Spinal Tap.
Yeah, exactly. That's I almost wanted to, when it was one of those where it was like the controversy lasted for like 5 seconds and everybody moved on.
Right.
So it really wasn't a chance for me to go. I just wanted to be like Nathan Fillion, and in the one gif where it's like,
from Castle with the hand over the mouth.
Yeah, I'm like, but I'm just saying. And then what's really funny is what they end up getting is a completely just black cover, and I'm like, well, Metallica's gonna do that in like 6 years. I mean, Bobby's, and Bobby and some of the other people are like, the Beatles, they did the White Album, and look at how well that did. They're like, yeah, and Metallica's gonna do a completely black cover in 1990. So they're like, what the crap is this? Like, it's just black. And I'm like, yeah, actually, you guys are ahead of the curve on that. A little bit. There's a band that's gonna do that too, and actually it's gonna do much better than yours. It's just hilarious. Oh my god. So I think it's probably partially why this movie has stood the test of time, is because it ages so well, because the industry is still just as ridiculous, if not more ridiculous. Is the thing. I think that's why, not only is it like some of the music just like it slaps, some of the music is quite fun. Even if you're not bothering to analyze the lyrics, I mean, just some of the songs are fun. A lot of the dialogue was improvised or ad-libbed, which allows for these guys to just kind of let their imaginations go wherever. And there's just some fantastic scenes and lines in this that are so quotable. And it's just it's just so well done, and it's fun to watch, to see like who pops up. There's some people that play themselves, or some people that play other people. You've got some recognizable faces. I mean, they were kind of more faces recognizable for the time. People now will be like, is that one guy? Like Ed Begley Jr. Like, how many people are gonna clock Ed Begley Jr. now? Back then, there's a couple of blink and you miss them because they aren't anybody yet. But during Bobby's party, there are 2 waiters that are both mimes. That would be Dana Carvey and Billy Crystal.
Wow.
Billy Crystal, I think, is a bit more, you might clock him a little easier because he does speak, and his voice is pretty distinctive. Like, what Billy Crystal sounds like. Dana Carvey never speaks a word, but yes, that is Dana Carvey. So, playing mime waiters. Uh, so, I mean, in some cases they just got like their friends to, bump in and, play really bit parts. Like Angelica Houston is in there at some point, although I couldn't necessarily tell you where exactly she. Paul Schaefer, who plays Artie Fufkin, the local promoter who gets the records and nobody shows up, and he's like, just kick me in the ass. Just give me a good big old kick me in the ass. Right? That would be Paul Schaefer, aka the band leader for David Letterman for like ages. And actually he does come back for the sequel. A number of these people do. Because I know for some people they've been wanting a sequel for this for a while. Yeah, it's not quite the demand for like Spaceballs to Search for More Money, but there are some people that they wanted to see where Spinal Tap has ended up, and here we are 40 years later, and we finally get our sequel with Spinal Tap II, The End Continues.
Hi, I'm Marty DeBerge. 40 years ago, I was honored to direct a film called This Is Spinal Tap.
The numbers all go to 11. One louder.
Why don't you just make 10 louder and make 10 be the top number and make that a little louder?
These go to 11.
I'd like to sink her with my pink torpedo.
Pink torpedo? That's literature. Yeah. Really? A lot has happened since the last time I saw you. Crypto! Have you been playing music at all?
I play music at a pub.
This is the site of Spinal Tap's reunion concert. Why New Orleans?
There was a cancellation.
Who was supposed to be there?
An evening with Stormy Daniels.
Oh.
Obviously, there'll be the regular merch.
Yes.
And Hope has had a rather brilliant idea.
Tap water.
It says artisan.
It's just tap water.
It's tap water.
We're still short a drummer.
What happened to him?
He sneezed himself into oblivion.
Is that medically possible?
So, you think you might fill the bill?
I don't want to die.
We've only lost 11 or 12. 11 drummers.
The thing that you guys had as kids, is that still there?
I'm in a band that constantly is breaking apart and coming back together. But the more we retreat into the music, the nicer things become. Not to be profound or anything, and it would be a first time for me.
Stonehenge, 'tis a magic place where the moon doth rise with a dragon's face. Stonehenge, we have Spinal Tap. We'll go back in time to that mystic land.
What we need to do is secure your legacy. If during the gig, at least one, but ideally no more than two of you were to die.
Would you settle for a coma?
Oh, no, that's interesting.
You know?
That's a great bit of thinking outside, well, the literal box, I suppose, actually.
Yeah.
And at this point, it picks up with, it's essentially now, but it's been 15 years since the band has been together. They broke up and kind of went on their separate ways, doing their own thing. Let's see. Nigel, played by Christopher Guest, he gets asked in the first movie, he's like, if you were in the music industry, what would you do? And he talks about maybe opening a shop, like a hat store. He actually owns a cheese shop. It's a cheese and guitar shop. So he sells and or trades cheese and or guitars. So like you could come in with a guitar and be like, I would like to trade this guitar for a wheel of, I don't know, Irish cheddar. And he'd be like, a deal of somebody. and vice versa. Oh, look at this. Let's see. David St. Hubbins is doing music when we see him before they're called back together. He's in a mariachi band.
Because of course he is.
And Derek owns a museum of glue. Yeah. So, and of course there's no drummer at this point. They've gone through 11 drummers. But apparently their contract that their manager that they have in the first movie, he has since died, and now his daughter has inherited all his business dealings, and that includes the contract with Spinal Tap, and there's a stipulation that they have to play one more show to fulfill their contract. So Martin DeBerge, our director, played by Rob Reiner, has taken upon himself to create another documentary, and use this opportunity to document Spinal Tap coming together to do this one final show. And, of course he has to go and find them and see what they're doing, and that's how we know what the guys are doing. Part of it is the band itself kind of got a minor resurgence in interest in them after a video of Garth Brooks and Trisha Yearwood singing one of their, I can't remember if it's Big Fat Bottom or something else. I don't remember which song it is. Goes viral. Janine, she and David broke up. She is now a nun. Artie is a used car salesman and supposedly invented the giant inflatable man thing that you see at like car dealerships. But Hope, who is the daughter of their former manager and has the contract, is doing her best, even though she did not have even though her dad was in the industry, she never really got a hang of it. She was kind of doing her own thing. So, she has to, get some help, and, the thing is the guy who has industry, experience, oh crap, what's his name? It's like Simon or something like that. Which is funny, because this guy is supposed to be like a really good like producer or whatever, manager in the music industry, yet he does not understand music. Like, literally. Like, if somebody plays music, it doesn't register for him whether it's like good or not. Like, it's like being like colorblind, except he's like music blind. So it creates a lot of tension. So anyway, so there's the whole thing is them coming back together. It's all awkward. Can they find the same vibe that they had before? The show is going to take place in New Orleans, which, is a colorful place all in itself. The house that they are renting to temporarily live in, and the recording studio that they're studio space they are using for rehearsals and everything, because it's New Orleans. They're both supposedly haunted, so they keep getting interrupted by ghost tours. And of course,
movie.
Kind of, not really. But oh my goodness, like I said, I needed this laugh. And there were maybe a dozen people in the movie theater when I went and saw this, but everybody else was also laughing out loud, like genuinely laughing out loud throughout this. So it's like they did a really good job of capturing the essence from the original movie and this. So I mean, you've got Yeah, they've got a bit more pull now, as far as having celebrities, show up as themselves. So Elton John makes a couple of appearances. So does Paul McCartney, which is pretty awesome. Even though David St. Hubbins thought that Paul was actually a dick and quite pretentious. Paul didn't care. They're playing parodies of themselves, even the people that are playing themselves. Of course, they need a new drummer, and at this point, everybody knows. Everybody knows about the curse of being a drummer in Spinal Tap, so they are reaching out to everybody they know to try and get someone to be a drummer just for this one gig. Just for this one gig. This one show. Like, maybe you could just do a one and done and you might survive. So, of course, there's a montage.
You might make it out alive.
Yeah. Of course, there's a montage of people coming through to audition. So, some people that are somewhat competent, some people that aren't, some people that aren't the same style of drummers. A guy playing bongos at one point. One of the guys in the Blue Man Group is auditioning. And they're not getting anybody that fits. So then they're like, okay, we need to call in some favors. So they get on a Zoom call with Questlove. And Questlove is like, I would, but I kind of like being alive. He's like, but I have some people. I have some people that you might want to call instead that might be interested. And of course, I'm like, okay, they're auditioning drummers. I was like, there are two people that could potentially show up.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, one of them seems more likely than the other, just because of the style of music that they play. And wouldn't you know it, Lars frickin' Ulrich makes an appearance.
Nice. You can't scare me.
Yeah, he's like, it's an honor, but this Metallica thing, we've kind of been doing it for 4 decades, and I'm like, damn right you did. I was at your 40th anniversary concert.
I was in the pit.
But the entire time I'm like, please have Lars. Please, come on, Lars. And he showed up. I'm like, I was like, is it either Lars or Ringo? We're talking about famous drummers. I was like, Lars would be funnier. And damn it if Lars didn't show up. They actually end up hiring this girl, and she's actually really, really good.
Cool.
I don't know who she is. I don't recognize her from anything, but she is good. If she is not a musician in real life, she should be. She needs
to be.
Yes. She's a really, really good drummer.
You know what would have been even more funny too? I mean, with Lars in Ringo, but then have his son Zach show up.
Yeah.
What are you doing here? I thought you told me you weren't interested in the job.
Yeah.
What? I lied. I'm on the outs with Pete and Raj.
Yeah.
Give me a break.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. It's so funny. Oh. But yeah, it's everything you expect from the original movie just brought into the, to now.
Mm-hmm.
As far as the concert, there's a lot of hype. I mean, people are really excited for it. Once we get to the actual concert part of the movie, there's a good crowd there. Because in the first movie, the running gag is their shows get smaller and smaller and smaller as they lose favor and popularity. But here, it's like, it's the great reunion and Spinal Tap. It's this big show. But you've got the character conflicts and everything. But it's there's still, I don't want to give everything away, but still with Stonehenge, it's still, they can never get Stonehenge right. They can never ever get Stonehenge right. They can't get the prop right.
They did their best try, but didn't.
I mean, obviously, in the first movie, it's 18 inches tall, so it's ridiculous. Even with the dwarfs, supposed to be playing little druids dancing around it. It looks ridiculous because they're taller than it. But also when they did live shows, that was also a running thing, that every time they went to do the song Stonehenge, that something would happen wrong with the prop. Either the top would come off, it didn't want to, it fell apart. So again, something happens with the prop this time and it causes chaos. But I don't want to give it away because it's hilarious. But yeah, it's pretty fun. The whole thing is just funny. And there's other celebrity cameos and appearances. Fran does come back as Bobby, just to explain why she's not touching this reunion show with a 10-foot pole or 11-foot pole in this case. There's is it crap Nigel has moved on from all the amps turning up to 11. He has a new obsession now besides cheese.
Oh boy, oh dear.
That makes Martin question his sanity.
Okay.
So
we are talking that he's leaning to dips like a certain someone and a certain other TV show.
No, the cheese does play into it, in its own way, but it's not necessarily connected to the modern equivalent of turn everything to 11.
Gotcha.
Because it's 11. So.
Okay. Gotcha.
I'll just say Peter Frampton would be interested, and I'll leave it at that.
Now I'm gonna have to start digging through Peter Frampton songs to figure stuff out. Okay.
Yeah. Let's just say that Peter Frampton would be like, ha, I like that. So yeah. It's just, like I said, I don't want to give everything away, especially considering with this stuff. It's one of those things where it's you have to see it and hear it and get the setup and the payoff for it to actually be funny. Comedy isn't necessarily something you can explain and it still be funny, but they've just found new ways for just ridiculousness to happen. But because it's Spinal Tap, people are all like, yeah, that tracks. Yeah. This is fully expected from a movie about this band for shit like this to happen. I don't know. Like we were saying beforehand, Holly, you didn't get to see it at all in theaters because it only played for 1 weekend. I got to see it because it was playing here, in theaters here as of last weekend, but they were only doing one screening a day.
See, and that's kind of what I was hoping for
at my closest theater.
But
so
nope.
Yeah. So it was just I know it wasn't it's not gonna
be everybody's cup of
it's not
tea,
gonna be everybody's cup of tea. What's really funny is, I bought my ticket, using the app, so I get my rewards points and stuff. And I get to the movie theater, I show them my electronic ticket, to show that I'm supposed to be at this movie theater. I got carded. I have not been carded for a movie, and I don't know how long, if ever. I got carded to see this movie.
Oh my goodness! Wow.
Okay then.
Okay.
I mean, it is rated R, but it's not I didn't get carded to see Deadpool. like any of the Deadpool movies, and that's way raunchier than this.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't see this. I'm like, am I getting punked? Like, they scanned my electronic ticket, and they were like, "Can I see your ID, please?" I'm like, really? Car didn't see Spinal Tap II.
I guess I could take this as a compliment, but
oh my god, oh,
you know,
so funny, so funny. Oh, and I mean, even after seeing the movie, I still want to go and try and find, catch some of the press that these guys have been doing in character.
Oh, I'm sure it's just hilarious.
Yeah, like I know, like Michael McKean has been on Conan's podcast, Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend, as David St. Hubbins, at least for part of it. So, and I want to say that I don't know how many of them, they've also appeared on the official Metallica podcast, I think, as well, or I think, because I asked, they mention, the Metallica connection in this one. They're like, no. It's like, yeah, I didn't want to give it away. I was like, yeah, there's Metallica connection. Oh my god. It's so funny. These guys are so funny. So funny. And I'm so glad that Rob Reiner agreed to do this. Yeah, to come back and do this. I mean, if he's going to do a sequel, this is definitely one that was asking for it. It's not like we're banging down the doors asking for a sequel to The Princess Bride. So,
You know what would be nice?
Yeah. Not a sequel. I'm still waiting for that Muppet remake of Princess Bride, to be honest with you.
I would rather see, that, because I don't know what they could do or what story.
I mean, it's just the one book.
To do part
so.
2, yeah. I mean, they did have like a Buttercup's baby, but that was like a mini, not a complete whole story.
I mean, there is a Princess Bride tabletop card game.
Yes, there is that. Yep.
But
yeah, I mean, yeah, Buttercup's baby was sort of a tongue-in-cheek joke sequel.
Yeah,
I mean, all of it is satire, but whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's just, oh my. I can't. I can't. I mean, I can't. Like I said, I'm just like, everyone at, the theater was not packed by any means, but the people in it were obviously enjoying themselves. And I was too. They started busting out, some of the hits. And, I was right there along singing with it. I've got all Spinal Tap, their entire discography mixed in with my heavy metal playlist on Spotify.
As you should.
Even the stuff that isn't heavy metal, like,
yeah.
Listen to what the flower people say. No, it's still in there.
Yep.
So,
I mean, Ozzy did some slow stuff, and so yeah, it works.
It works. It works.
People look at me kind of funny sometimes when I share a place, like, why did you put that on there? And then all of a sudden, oh yeah, they hear that. So I'm like, oh, that makes sense why you put that in. I'm like, there's a method to my madness sometimes, even though it doesn't look like it, but it's there for a reason.
Yeah.
Yes, sometimes I do happen to pay attention to lyrics.
I mean, and some of those people, those famous musicians that make an appearance in the new movie may or may not appear on the soundtrack. I mean, if you go and look at the track listing, it gives it away, but still,
right?
So there's some updated versions of some classic Spinal Tap songs with some famous voices. Which is hilarious. Oh my goodness. Yeah, so good, so good. Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, it sounds like the run in the theaters is short lived.
Much
but,
like to the joke, much like a certain drummer in a certain band.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's not necessarily that the movie didn't do well. Maybe a drummer exploded somewhere and they just had to pull it. I don't know. They couldn't run the risk of accidentally killing somebody else. Maybe if it stayed in theaters for too long.
Or they had to protect whoever was the projectionist.
Yeah,
so they wouldn't lose the projectionist.
Maybe. I mean, as far as I know, Questlove, Lars still alive. So
good.
We got that going
and
for
Ringo,
us.
And
Ringo. So, well, thankfully Ringo. I mean, maybe Ringo made an appearance that got cut. They figure one Beatle is enough. I don't know. But as far as we know, all famous drummers are still alive. Ringo, Phil Collins, they're still at it. So, I mean, Phil Collins is retired, but still famous drummer.
Yeah.
So,
exactly, yes.
As far as I know, he is still alive. So,
yes.
the curse of Spinal Tap has not reached out beyond actual people who've actually played drums with Spinal Tap. So hopefully that means that all those other people that auditioned, like whichever member of the Blue Man Group that was, since he wasn't actually playing with the band, he'll be okay. He was only playing for them and not with them. So hopefully that technicality counts as far as potential death. So. Sorry. So ridiculous. I love it. Maybe that means it will end up on streaming and or physical media sooner rather than later then.
I think the streaming to purchase and rent is this week, and then possibly physical 2 weeks later, and then streaming. I think I read an article somewhere that said 4 months from tomorrow.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. So, I mean, the new one, as far as ratings go, compared to the OG, not as high, although I don't necessarily know if you can really compare, because the Spinal Tap II, The End Continues, currently on IMDb, is running at 6.8 stars out of 10.
That's shabby.
But this is Spinal Tap is at 7.9 out of 11.
They need to make a little a little course correction on part 2.
So, I mean, if you rolled back to 11 to 10, maybe it would be in the 6s. So maybe it's still, maybe if they let Spinal, The End Continues go to 11, maybe it would be 7.8 instead.
Yeah.
It's the only movie on IMDb that is out of 11.
Somebody knew what they were doing.
Well, I also hope that they are getting a much better deal this time around as far as like rights and everything, because originally these guys got screwed with the first movie. The rights holders and all the subsidiaries kept it so that like they got pennies. Like they got like $98 in music royalties and $81 in merchandise revenue. So Yeah. They finally went to court over it in 2016 and then finally reached a settlement in 2020, allowing Rob, Christopher, Michael, and Harry to have the rights to the film and the music and all the stuff that goes with it. So I don't think that's happening again with this one. Whatever money this one is making, hopefully is going to the right people. So, yeah. And Holly, whenever I come to visit you, again, we need to make a road trip to Milwaukee so that we can go to Shankall.
Yes. I'd be down for that. And then we'd also Yep. And we'd also have to try. Open? And we'd also have to try to reenact Laverne and Shirley too.
Yeah. I always forget that Michael McKee was in Laverne and Shirley.
Yes, he was.
Lenny and Squiggy.
Yep.
I mean, when I think of Michael, I think of this. I think of Clue.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And him in the first season of Good Omens.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he's brilliant. I love him.
He is.
They all are. So, but Michael has a very twisted sense of humor, and it creates some very, very, very entertaining, very entertaining stuff. So
yeah.
So yeah, that is Spinal Tap. At least for now, because it's not the end. The end continues. I do like cheese. Yeah. I can't play the guitar though. So.
We all have our talents, or lack thereof. But if any of our listeners want to share their thoughts on anything we discussed on the podcast, we're using Spinal Tap, or want to talk about the news or whatever, awesome. Send us some feedback. Our email address is fivishfangirls@gmail.com. You can also visit our website, which is thefivishfangirls.com, which has links to all of our social media where you can leave comments, or you can leave comments on the website and find our show notes. And also we have Patreon and a merch store that if you feel so inclined to help support us that way, that would always be greatly appreciated. And of course, thank you as always for listening and for being our fans and our audience, and we love you guys. So be well wherever you are at.
Very much so. Very much so. All right. Well, with that, now we shall sign off for this week.
This is Brittany Bangles saying goodnight.
Chrissy saying goodnight from Salt Lake City.
This is Holly from Wisconsin saying good evening.
And this is Rachel in Indianapolis, Indiana. This pretentious, ponderous collection of religious rock songs is enough to prompt the question, what day did the Lord create Spinal Tap? But couldn't he have rested on that day too? Thank you, our Fiveish fam, for joining us on this week's geeky journey. If you enjoyed the show, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review. Stay connected with us on our website, thefivishfangirls.com, and follow us on most social media with @FivishFangirls. Plus, check out our nonprofit, Fangirls Give Back, to see how we're making a positive impact in our community. Until next time, stay nerdy and let the squee continue.